government is getting on changing this law, because it is part of the one which denies, denying most of the married women during, disposition of the assets for the deceased. It is a problem, and yes, sensitization could be one, but two, I think the government has to now seriously take on this demand from the women constituents. They have always, demanded for this change, and I remember we have got Taula, we've got TGNP, TAMWA. They've taken it very seriously, submitted to the ministry responsible for women, and also in the Ministry of Constitutional Affairs, so that this act can change, the Law Marriage Act. But it is taking long as well. No, when the law is taking long to change, even the attitude, it's just like the death penalty. You have heard activists, arguing on and off against it, death penalty. But it is, so the government say, okay, it will take long before the decision is made, because it involves a lot of consultation and things like that. So matters of attitude, behavioral change, they take time, but through program, they need to happen. Yeah. There's no replacement for that. They need to happen because we have a segment of the population which is suffering, which is they are falling victims of circumstances that could be changed by, and we are the people who can change it. Okay, we have the responsibility to do that, but also it is the duty of the government, because they have the duty to make sure that these rights are enforced. If they are provided for in the law and they are not enforced, then...
To have land issues incorporated in the new constitution. That was one of the means of sensitizing the public at large on land issues. How was their response to that?
A national discussion about the need to include the land issues in the constitution. And that is not a new agenda. It hasn't even come with the ongoing debate about the new constitution. Way back in L90s, when the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into Land Matters submitted their recommendations to the President, one of the demands was for the land to be strongly protected. That are sometimes alien, they are coming from outside the people. They are not reflecting the interests of the people who are entirely depending on the land for their livelihood. For example, in 2004, you had the law, actually was, the Land Act were enacted in 1999. They became operational in 2001. Then 2 years later, there was this huge demand for changes of the law, amendment of the law. And this was pushed out by the bankers. Okay? The financial institutions said they had a huge amount of money in the bank, and people were not lending because the land was not being used as a collateral. So eventually the act was amended. But recently, our study is going on to establish the extent to which land has been used by smallholder farmers as a collateral from the financial institutions. The immediate response is showing that no, the bankers are not interested with the small mortgages. They're interested with, huge, large-scale investment and mortgages. Because you cannot take a bank from here to one of the peripheral districts to just survey and give a loan for 5 acres or even 10 acres. It depends on the value of the land. And we know the value of the land in the villages is still lower as compared to the prime areas in the cities and things like that. So basically, the bankers are saving a very small segment of the population.
I'm afraid we'll have to leave it there. I'd like to thank my guest, Executive Director of HAKIARDHI, Yefred Myenzi. Join me next week, same time, same place, for more of the agenda.